everybody, and welcome to the Crone Cottage here on YouTube. My name is Ray, and it is holiday no brush hair day here on Sunday. It's Sunday. Why? It's not like I had anywhere important to be except here. So this is a double video day. So this is the second one. It'll probably come out like way later after the other one, which hopefully you guys will get to see shortly because it's now working on processing. So if I pause in here, it's because I've gone to get this on YouTube and then Facebook and yada yada. Anyways, so my drink of choice, because yes, it's drink time, is we're here again. Quick and easy, a little bit more hydrating than tea and that kind of thing. So wow, I have been doing some work to be happy, and so ergo now I am kind of happy, and it got a bit motivated. So yeah, you can see things are a little different behind me this time, which is a good thing. It felt really good to get off my bum and rearrange my living room, and I am not as mutilated feeling as and tired as I thought I would be, because usually the day after I like moving furniture around and everything. Chickies kind of, oh my god, dead bug. Dead bug. So that's what's up here, is rearranging house and then trying to decorate as I go, because I'm really enjoying putting those little photo montages with music on the ends of the video, even though sometimes the pictures aren't quite so clear. So the music is music that's in the YouTube audio files. So I just looked up holiday music, and up popped these little sort of variety of types, like the stuff I use for the intro and the outro. That sort of, it's a fiesta, so it's a little kind of Mexican, happy and bubbly and that kind of thing. I do have recipes for you. I haven't done any baking. Shame on me. I'm really starting to miss that now that it's getting closer to Yule. So I'm going to be wanting to do some baking, you know, of some of my favorites anyways. Like, I might have a jar of mincemeat, so I should go pick up some tart shells. One of these years I'd like to make my own, just because I think that would be good and would taste wonderful and that type of thing. Here at No Frills, President's Choice has a decent mincemeat, so that's kind of cool. It also depends on what's left in the store. And that's part of the reason why I'm thinking about starting to make my own stuff, because I can make it in the summer when everything's available and nobody's fighting for stuff, and then can it, and then ta-da, I have mincemeat. And I believe there's some really good recipes running around on the internet. The ones that Mom would have had, not that we ever made it, but Mom would have had, are gone. So one of the easiest things for me to do that makes a bunch of baking is roll cookies, the ones you cut the shapes out of. So sugar cookies and gingerbread cookies. Also, time savers too are often pan things where you can make like a bunch of fudge, or like brownies, lemon squares, Nanaimo bars. I love Nanaimo bars. And it is pronounced Nanaimo bars because it's they're from Nanaimo, BC, Canada, British Columbia, Canada. So it's not Nanaimo bars or anything like that. It's Nanaimo bars, and they're absolutely amazing. So I do have my recipe, but now that I'm looking at things, I really should sit down and translate these. My fudge brownie recipe is really easy to turn into a non-dairy version and a sort of a gluten-free, non-flour recipe. And it was the one recipe that kind of gave me my life back after the diet dump came, because it was like, oh, okay, I can have chocolate back and that kind of thing. So where the 1/2 cup butter or margarine is, just use Baysell vegan margarine. It works just fine. And where the 1/2 cup of sifted flour, corn flour works well there. Because cocoa covers up the taste. So knowing this, I was able to fix that, and it was the one thing I didn't have to like have 4 different non-wheat flours and this and that to make it rise. Fudge brownies don't rise. So you can substitute butter for regular margarine. You can substitute it for that vegan margarine, and you can put the corn flour in there. And instead of using two 1-ounce squares, it was 6 tablespoons of cocoa and 2 tablespoons more of the margarine. So what I usually do is I put 3/4 of a cup of cocoa in and 3/4 of a cup of margarine in. I've got wiggle room with butter this much, so this year I might be making them with butter. And so so that it's 1-to-1 between your fat amount and your cocoa amount. That keeps them a little bit moist. They will be a slight bit drier than regular fudge brownies that use the baking squares. But yeah, this is an amazing recipe. Everybody I make it for, even when I do the gluten-free version, dairy-free version, everybody's loved those brownies. And here's a note, because not everybody knows this, but I've had, somebody had a failure with my pound cake recipe because they used farm eggs, and she said it just didn't turn out like I did it, and she thought she was using large eggs. It turns out when I brought large eggs home, we were living together for a while after she had the problem with the pound cake, and when I compared the farm eggs to the store-bought large eggs, it was like different. They were more like a medium-sized egg. So a recipe that relies on all that moisture and everything from the eggs, it didn't get it. 9 medium eggs probably is closer to about 7, maybe even 6 eggs. So most baking recipes, when they call for eggs, call for standard large size grocery store eggs. So yes, so keep that in mind when you're doing baking. The other thing to keep in mind is, as we get older, and you might be baking for adults, a lot of us are losing that taste for sweet we had as children and young people, and we're liking things a little bit more rich and less sweet. So one of my recipes I have, besides the brownies, is, let's hold it in there. Oh, it's going, there we go, sugar cookies. And I modified the sugar cookie recipe to make a chocolate mint cookie, to which I added 1/2 cup of cocoa, 2 heaping tablespoons of margarine, could use butter there, butter would be amazing. And a 1/3 cup crushed candy canes. Now, if I add the cocoa, because candy canes and sugar cookie dough is amazing, but I'm thinking if I was just to use the candy canes and not the cocoa, I would allow for a reduction in sugar. Because my sugar cookie recipe calls for 3/4 of a cup of sugar, 2/3 of a cup of shortening, a teaspoon of vanilla, an egg, 1 egg, 4 tablespoons of milk, 1½ cups of flour, 1½ teaspoons baking powder, and 1/4 teaspoon salt. And then you cream the shortening, add the sugar and the vanilla. Remember, vanilla is kind of sweet as well, so that will affect the taste. And I have found the richer the milk, like homogenized or coffee creamer or even whipping cream, makes the cookie taste better. And one of the other things I want to mention while I kind of got you guys all here, I'm going to have to do, I think, a separate video for some other baking, is that there is a difference in taste in butter goggles. But anyways, there's a different taste between salted butter and unsalted butter. Unsalted butter is way sweeter. So that can affect the sweet taste in cookies and cakes and frosting and things that you make too as well. So keep that in mind, that sometimes if all you can get your hands on is salted butter, that potentially you don't need to put the salt that it calls for into the recipe. I've done that with my pound cake. When I've had to use salted butter, I don't put butter in. I don't put the salt in. I omit the salt. And although it doesn't taste as sweet or as mellow as with the unsalted butter, it, however, does taste close. It tastes closer to without all the extra salt in it. So that's just things that I've learned. The other thing that can happen when you're doing rolled cookies, so I guess this video is has some baking helps and hints and things like that. With my sugar cookies and stuff, I put about 1/2 cup less flour into the dough. 2 reasons. 1, I don't sift. I just measure and dump. And 2, you can take that 1/2 cup of flour and hold it back, and then when it comes time to roll out your dough, you can use that 1/2 cup of flour to roll your cookies in, and it'll make your cookies less dense and heavy and tasting and feeling. I do the same thing with my gingerbread. I'm thinking maybe I'll use butter in my gingerbread instead of the shortening, because it's a recipe from Better Homes and Gardens. So is my sugar cookie recipe, and the brownie recipe. They originally came from Better Homes and Gardens Cookies and Cakes cookbook, that one that my mom had like many moons ago, and I just loved all the recipes, so I copied down a bunch. It's time to get a bunch of them done up so that they're you can easily read. And the other thing is, get yourself some protection sleeves when you're doing stuff like this, because if they get stuff spilt on it, you can wipe it off and clean it, and it doesn't affect the paper inside. That's just a simple hint that I use, because too often, well, it's like with the fudge brownies. There was recipe up top, but all over the years with all the grease and stuff, it's gone now. on there. And my brownie recipe is almost gone. You can almost see through where it's stained. So that is one of the ways that you can preserve handwritten recipes is get them, not just get them in a book, but get them into the plastic sleeves. So, excuse me, so that if you get egg or shortening or butter or oil or whatever on there, you can you just not wrecking it, you can just wipe it off, and it's cheaper than laminating. That type of thing. So the gingerbread cookies, there, it's called Gingerbread Boys, and it is from the Better Homes and Gardens cookbook from the 70s. It's I have it right there. You can see where the original sugar cookie recipe I had written out. So yeah, I think I will replace the 1 cup of shortening with maybe a cup of butter, or maybe go half and half, because they're called Gingerbread Boys, because you use popsicles. When you roll them out, you cut them like that thick or whatever, and then you use the popsicle stick as a stick for them. So the original recipe is really great if you're going to make ornaments, because it will bake hard unless you roll out this thick and you watch your time. So 1 finger's width, and even that can be too thin. It will bake hard. Even at the regular time. Sometimes what I've done with that is I've made sure that my cookies were still just finger warm, just slightly warm, and then you put them all in the cookie jar or container and just keep that moisture in there. Kind of keeps them soft. They were disappearing quick enough I didn't have to worry about that moisture creating other problems. It's a good recipe. One of the things is I love the taste of ginger and the spices in my things to be very strong. So when it says something like 2 to 3 teaspoons of ginger, 3 teaspoons is 1 tablespoon, so bloop. I just want them to taste really good. And I often, where it was saying 1 cup of molasses, it's usually like 1.25 cups to 1.5 cups, because I just love that really strong taste to it. And have discovered that if you make the dough at least a week ahead of time, the spices have a chance to get in and marry themselves with all the flour and everything, and the molasses, and everything gets just richer, and it just tastes better than making it, leaving it sit for its 3 hours that it needed to sit in the refrigerator, and then making cookies out of it. Usually the next day. It just a couple days later, it tasted much better. So on that note, I'm going to close. Oh, besides the fact that I'm looking at the prize shortbread, I've never been able to make the shortbread in the pan and have it come out beautiful and wonderful like it's supposed to. Some things just we're not all good at everything, and I can't do that. However, the way I was taught how to make shortbread was Mom had one of those cookie press things with the metal tubes and the different shapes on it, and the trick was to get the butter to flour ratio. Oh, and don't use margarine for shortbread. There's a reason why shortbread tastes amazing. It's because they use butter. And so if you're dairy intolerant, you may just have to skip on those. And I do think that's half the problem with food today, is that we've gone to this place where everything is supposed to be marvelous and wonderful because of it's processed and chemicals to preserve, but I think we sacrifice taste. So the holidays is a great time. Hello, Rob. It's a great time to just take that step back to an older, kinder time where food was food, and use the ingredients that our grandparents and great-grandparents used, and then just enjoy the flavor and not worry about our waistlines. Worry about your health, because if you've got diabetes or heart disease or something like that, take care of yourself. But don't worry about your waistline. Bears get fat for winter for a reason. And I've got a theory about the fact that I think in winter we're just prone, some of us are just prone to just go, no matter what we eat, because we need that extra little bit for the cold. So I'm in menopause, so I'm not dieting. I will diet when everything settles down. Actually, I probably won't diet. I like food too much. I need to just get out and walk more. So, the secret to the dark fruit cake is paying attention. That's the absolute secret to a fruit cake. Don't buy the white fruit cake in the store, because I don't know what they do to that. Number one, they put that marzipan crap on the top, and that just tastes gross for most people anyways. But I find regular white fruit cake is sour, bitter. I don't know what they do to it. It just tastes gross. It's all this marvelous candied fruit and stuff, and they wreck it. With a close second behind it with the dark fruit cake. One of the reasons Mom's recipe is so good is because there's a ton of fruit in it, and there's more fruit than flour. So it's more of it's a fruit in cake is what it is. Yeah, and the other thing is Mom always made it with wine and then baked it immediately. None of this sitting around in the basement for however long it's supposed to sit, so somebody forgot it. That's half the time why they're so hard. Fruitcake is meant to be dense, thick cake. It's not meant to be light and fluffy like a chocolate cake or a white cake. It's meant to be heavy. And a lot of times what they use back in the day, our way ancestors, it was whatever leftover dried fruit that they had, and you would soak it with brandy or whatever alcohol you had, because it helped the fruit be soft. That's part of where the moisture for the fruit came from. And so it was a very often was used a lot for wedding cakes back then. It's the kind of cake you can actually put under your pillow. For all us girls, put under your pillow, and then you dream about the man you're supposed to marry. But anyways,
God, you're old.
Shut up. No comments from the peanut gallery.
I just edited it out.
I can't edit it out. Don't know how. So this recipe, the dark fruit cake recipe, yeah, I really need to get stuff on on papers, is 1 pound of raisins, 3/4 of a pound of sultana raisins. Actually, you know what? It's about 2 cups of everything. Okay, so regular dark Thompson raisins, the sultana raisins are the yellow ones. It's about 1 cup of mixed peel, which means 2 of those little containers. About 2 cups of currants, a cup of candied pineapple that I cut up into smaller pieces. Make sure when you're cutting up candied fruit, that you don't have any nicks or anything, because it will sting. Mm-hmm. Same with a nice decent container of candied cherries. And you need 1/2 cup of candied ginger. And that all, and then you put in, the other fruit is apricots, dried apricots, and dates.
How much?
But about 2 cups. It's all about 2 cups. Like, you will need a big pot to make this.
Big ass pot.
Big ass pot for that. And you take all that fruit, whatever fruit that you want in it, and then I put half a bottle of, like a $10 bottle of wine from the Okanagan, because they have that, or Ernest and Julio Gallo, just a $10. It's not anything expensive. And I put about half a bottle on that. And Mom had waterless cookware, and she's got a stock pot that's like this. It easily holds 8 cups of water. So when the moisture gets in it, the pot will actually suction itself closed. And so what I do then, after I pull it, I kind of do a quick stir, because you don't want to lose any of the alcohol, because that kind of is what sort of flavors it. We're trying to make this fruit drunk. Okay? And then I put the lid on, and then I go stick it someplace cool and dark. Can be a cupboard or a basement corner or something. Then I leave it for, I don't touch it on day 2, except to very carefully flip it a couple of times, give it a bit of a shake, so that any wine syrup that's sitting on the bottom has a chance to sort of run through the middle and to the front. So you got to make sure you got a good hold on your lid. Either that, or get some kind of container that has a lock and lock or screw lid on. We use Mom's stock pot, so I use, this is what I use. And then you take, on day 3, you just do a quick pass over with some wine, and then you put the lid on, and you do the same thing, kind of shake it a couple of times so that it gets a little bit mixy. Try not to stir this, because you do want it to just have a happy relationship with the wine. Then day 4, it's just shaky, shaky, shaky. I do sometimes crack the lid to smell, to see if I'm getting the right wine smell in there, the right sort of fermenting fruit smell. And then I put the lid. Day 5, you add more wine. So basically what you can do is you can just continue to do this until one day after the last of the wine going into the bottle. Now, I know somebody who is allergic to grapes, so I had a bit of an idea as to how to remove the grapes out of it. So that's no wine and no raisins. Dried apple would go really well in here, and apple cider I think would work really, really well for this. And then apple juice instead of this recipe calls for grape juice and molasses. So what I'm going to try and do in the next couple of days, I think I will be taking a break at some point later in the week here, and I will get this recipe and a few of the other ones, see if I can't get them handwritten out in some clear handwriting so I can take some pictures. And then I will revisit this recipe as okay, here's what we did with the fruit. We made it all drunk for a week before we baked it. And now here's what you do. Here's how you add the flour and everything, because this video is at half an hour already. and that kind of thing. So, oh, and we still haven't even done the surprise thing. So, yes, enjoy your holiday baking. Enjoy somebody else's holiday baking too. If you've got bakers who give you stuff, certainly enjoy those. And not everything has to be like super sweet, melt your teeth either. Lemon tarts are sweet, but kind of, well, tarty, because of lemon is good. You can make a really good orange tart. I saved an orange custard by putting cream cheese in that. that was good. I'm just, I miss my dairy, so. Surprise bag! It's getting empty and I'm getting sad because my surprises are almost done. So today is day 12, and so like on day 4 and day 8, I will be drawing 2. Okay, so the first one is a box for this day 12. My hands, like yesterday, don't want to work. Do 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 do. Oh, okay. Okay. Dragon's blood incense. Oh, that has a nice light smell to it. That's kind of cool. I'll have to find a home for that too. I'm pretty sure that the wonderful young lady who took the sage stuff will probably take that. Let's see. Okay, we'll try this one. The flat package. Oh, it's a necklace. With a teeny tiny little crystal on it. What looks like a quartz crystal. And a little heart that says blessed bee on it. Not that you guys can see. Oh, there you can sort of see it. A little blessed bee. Oh, that's cool. That's absolutely cool. So, thanks again, Haley of Mystic Moon Blessings, for giving me the opportunity to have the surprises and share with you all, you guys. Really good channels to check out for Yuletide stuff, with some history and stuff, is the Witch's Cookery and Alwyn Oak. They've got some really good informative stuff, plus and they're just doing some cool craft things and things like that. The Witch's Cookery, she's from Germany, so she's got this cute accent when she's talking about stuff and things like that. So, and she goes outside and wanders in the bush, the same as Alwyn Oak. She just goes, and they're doing outside Yule decorations to bring inside too as well. So, peace, love, and joy, happiness, everybody's. Things are going well, and I'll catch you tomorrow on day 13. Day 13 is going to be live. I think I'm going to give myself a bit of a break and maybe trot out some ornaments I've made in the past if I can find them. But just sort of do some chit-chat, at least half an hour, possibly an hour. We will just be going live, and that way I can save myself some video work to do. Probably we'll do it around 7 p.m. Mountain time. I think that's Alberta's on Mountain time. So that would be 6 p.m. Pacific time, and about 9 o'clock, depending on where you are in the east, 9 o'clock in Eastern time. So, bye for now from the cottage, my family to yours. Later, bye.